A tweeter.
A twatter.
So, no, gross. Oh my.
That's left. Central Minnesota, born and raised. There's a card game where I spent most of my days chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and tapping out mana, then dropping some duels when a couple of guys, they were up to no good. Started playing matches with my magic hood. I lost one little match and my mom got scared. She said, "You're losing all your ante and you don't even care."
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith. That was amazing. That's great.
I'm glad you got that one from my childhood.
Yeah, Will Smith is awesome.
Yeah.
I love watching everything that he does.
I have to give credit where credit is due.
Oh?
Cindy helped me out with a lot of those lyrics.
That's great.
She's kind of a genius. I'm like, okay, I want to do the Fresh Prince song. How do we do this? And then she just started spitting it out. I'm like, oh my God, let me write it down.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, she helped me out there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice shout out there. So we're the Commander Smiths.
Welcome to the Commander Smiths.
Welcome to listening to this glorious episode 8.
Episode 8, holy crap.
I'm Lowry Smith.
I am Adam Smith.
And I guess.
Do we say it every time?
No. I mean, we have.
At some point.
We'll eventually get rid of it once you guys figure it out. So you can find us on Twitter at Commander Smiths.
Or shoot us an email, commandersmiths@gmail.com.
And you can kind of find us on most every platform, YouTube, Apple products, Podbean, and
what's the other products? I only have Apple stuff, so it's...
Yeah. I was wondering how Orange did. Bananas, beets.
See, you did that joke. And
yeah, you totally missed it.
I didn't even catch it until we were doing the listen through last time, and I was like, "Oh, you made a fruit joke there. I see what you did there." We played a little bit of Commander last night. I wasn't in this game, but I'm interested to hear about. You had a 3-person game going, and every player was playing Soren Markov as their commander. Edgar.
Edgar Markov. Yeah, Edgar Markov.
It was pretty crazy, actually. It was pretty exciting, but it was funny because we had a lot of dead cards, because it was like the one where it's choose a creature type and then destroy all other creatures. Or the other vampire that comes into play, and then at the beginning of your upkeep you sacrifice
another vampire.
Everybody sacrifices a non-vampire. So it's like, well, this card sucks. But yeah, it was crazy. It swung. Like one point, me and Mark were a team against Tyson, and then we got him down, and then it was Tyson and Mark for basically the rest of the game against me. I was victorious. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. No, it's hard to bow when you're sitting.
It could have gone anywhere. Like, Tyson could have wiped me out if I didn't have Teferi's protection. So that was a funny thing, too, is Teferi's protection came out twice, because it came out from 2 players.
Oh, okay.
And then the goading one, where each player has to goad each other, that came out twice.
Really?
And then the one where you each player loses half their life, or not each player, one player loses half their life, and then if you tapped a vampire, you gain that. That came out twice.
Really? Blood Tribute, I believe.
Big freaking cards were played twice, so it was pretty sweet.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. The decks are going to play out pretty similar. Yeah. There's going to be a couple of differences depending on who's buying cards for it.
Well, so that was kind of the differences. They had their decks were, I think Tyson's was right out of the box, and Mark has some tweaks to it.
Okay.
But mine has the most tweaks, because that one I actually did kind of take out, like, I think I took out 25, 30 cards and put in.
Yeah.
Land especially, I made it so the land was a little more fluid.
Yeah, Edgar Markov is so powerful out of the box, though. So.
Yeah, so that's why it was like, this is kind of sweet. Doesn't matter. My tweaking, it still is a level playing field between 3 of them.
That would have been a
my
really
advantage
cool
was the card draw, because I had a lot more card draw in mine, so...
Yeah, and that's always the advantage.
Yeah,
so
card draws where it's at. So yeah, but yeah, we played what? Well, you came up and played a couple matches.
I got in pretty late. I got 2 games in with Animar.
With the Animar deck he talked about. He played it. It's pretty badass.
It was pretty fun. I mean, some of the cooler things were, like, I was able to play a couple like huge elementals, like the one that, like, when it comes into play, 10/10 flyer that champions an elemental that's blue. I just played it for 1 blue. You get a 10/10 flyer. And then I also played I want to say it's wind elemental, but when it comes into play, it deals 6 damage.
Oh yeah, you
to
did
each
play that.
Flying creature. And we were playing like an all flying deck and just wiped that guy out.
That was pretty sweet.
So, and Animar was swinging lethal on people, but people were playing artifacts for some reason, and so it just chump blocked all over the place. So, and that was a sweet move. That's Adam was playing in the second game that I played, and he
played my equipment deck that I talked about in episode 2 or whatever.
Yeah, and he was able to like swing over and like surprise kill my Animar, and I was like,
Death Touch kills Animar.
I thought one of the funnest things that I did was like I was able to play a Thicket Elemental and kicked it, and then doubled that trigger of it coming into play, and so I randomly found like 2 elementals just coming into play right off the bat, and then drawing cards. It was a really fun deck, and it was working pretty well. So
I think overall it played really well. It's just
I'll have to play it a little bit. I'll have to mess around with it and see if I can upgrade it a little bit.
Because that was your first time playing it anyway.
Yeah, so against any other decks.
You have to get used to what you're going for and all that stuff.
And that's one of the things is like when you make a new deck, you're gonna make mistakes and you're not gonna know what all your cards doing. You just need to get familiar with it, and it makes things a lot easier once you know what your deck does and how it's gonna work together.
Yeah. Well, we had a good group last night though. I mean, we had, I think at
8
total, yeah. So that was kind of sweet having the multi-games going at once. So it was a good crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of our little magic news we did for, it's been a little bit since we played Commander. We talk and play and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Lowry plays a little more regularly.
I have a couple friends come over like at least once a month.
Yeah. And then we have a couple young kids that are in the picture, so it's been a little more sparse.
It's hectic.
Yeah.
We try.
But we're starting to try to pick it up more, especially since we get together every week to do this.
Yeah.
We're going to actually try to fit that in.
Play a little bit more. So it'd be fun.
But yeah, this week we're actually going to be splitting this into 3 segments. Segment 1, we are going to be discussing. I actually got into Arena.
Yeah. I want to hear about some of that stuff.
Yeah, so I got into Arena, and then
we want to talk about spoilers. They released a lot of stuff in the last 2 weeks that we haven't talked about. Stuff from Dominaria.
Yep, the last week stuff where we were like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about it. Well, now we're actually going to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool cards that have come out. I'm just like super impressed with like the powerful uncommons that have come out.
Yeah, the uncommons feel like the best out of the groups. Like it's like there's so many freaking good cards in the uncommons.
But yeah, and we can talk about a bunch of those.
Well, the set in general just seems like it's built for Commander.
Oh yeah, this
legendary this, legendary that. Who cares about legendary? You just have
Commander Smith's wet dream right now. So
oh, sorry about that. And then we'll finish up. Oh man, finished up. That was the wrong time to use that.
No, it wasn't.
We will end the podcast with our third segment, like our normal thing, talking about specs. Our specs of the week. Smith specs of the week. Yeah, I gotta remember to do that. No, you just sound like the Tasmanian devil.
No, you did when you Smith specs of the week.
I didn't do that.
I'm mocking you for the way you were saying it.
What was the
Yeah, that was Tasmanian devil. That's how you were talking. That was a great cartoon on the WB. You remember that at all?
Yep, I do. So that's the end of that
conversation. Killer. Yep.
All right. So Arena, anyways.
Yeah, you're the one that played it. So first off, I've seen like pictures. I think I've watched a little bit of a video, but it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Like it looks really well done. Is there anything that you like that really stands out and pops to you when you were playing it?
So first off, I got the invite. Well, you signed up. Okay. I sent it out a while back, when they first were doing the beta, but I didn't have my DCI number. DCI, right?
DCI, motherfucker.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It was like, wait, did I say it right? But I didn't have it on me, so I just sent out a thing, and then they emailed me back just recently, like, hey, we're doing a mass. Like I said last week, they were doing
a stress test.
A stress test. So I got that invite and jumped on Friday. And Friday itself, in about a couple hours, I played, I think it was 9 matches. It was pretty sweet because you get in and they had, it's not going to be this way when they come out with the game, but they had pre-made decks.
Pre-made decks, yeah.
So of all the recent sets and everything. So basically standard. And they had pre-made decks that you got to jump on and play. And it freaking flowed really well. I don't know if it was my computer or if it was kind of lagging a little bit, but some of the graphics would kind of skip a little bit. But when the graphics worked, like when you dropped
what do you mean the graphics?
Like when you played a card that was a big fatty, like even if it's not, it doesn't have to be mythic.
So like a dinosaur or whatever.
Yeah, that was I was playing a dinosaur deck, and I dropped a 6/6. It was an uncommon, but then a freaking dinosaur comes out of your card for a second and then drops back down into it.
Does it roar?
Yeah,
like there's
it definitely
noises?
does.
Okay.
And then while you're playing, like if you're playing the cats, it meows and stuff like that.
Is it the same like dinosaur coming out, or is it a generic dinosaur that comes out?
I didn't put into detail. I didn't notice. I guess I bet it's the same dinosaur that comes out. It was a green dinosaur. I don't know. It came out, roared, went back into the card. But yeah, the graphics, the sound, everything. It looks really smooth. I had to get used to the mechanics. I kind of mentioned to this on the phone. But
you're saying that the attack
there's
sequence.
When you go to attack, it's kind of how you do it in Magic, but you don't do that in paper. But it was like, okay, I'm going to attack. Okay, now I'm going to attack. Okay, now I'm choosing the creatures I'm going to attack with. Okay, now I'm attacking. So I messed up on that pirate monkey has haste. And you can tap it
from Ixalan.
Yeah, to kill it and then do 1 damage. I clicked, okay, I'm going to attack, and then I was like, okay, I'm attacking with him. By clicking him, well, that killed him and did 1 damage to the person. I was like, damn it!
So was there only Ixalan block cards in it, or was it standard? There was Kaladesh stuff and Amonkhet?
Oh, no. Then it would Ixalan and
Amonkhet?
Amonkhet, yeah.
Because the cats would be there.
Yep,
okay.
Yeah. So, not that I noticed. I guess I played 4 different decks, and I think there was about 9 different decks.
Oh, really? That's 9 or 10. Good variety, I would guess.
They were good, decent decks for standard.
Did you get at least a chance to either play or play against every deck, do you think?
No, not every deck.
Okay.
But I did. I played a variety of them, I like the dinosaur one just because I have 1 dinosaur deck, but it was just fun to play. It worked really. I mean, once it gets going, it's pretty stompy.
Steamrolling.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, one thing I did notice was... Oh, yeah, that's right. One thing I really liked about it, and I think you noticed this too when you've watched the videos, is like when somebody goes to search for a card and they have to reveal it, the cool thing is it shows it in their hand and it never leaves. So you can always remember, you don't have to go back and be like, oh, what was that card
You don't
again?
have to write it down.
Yeah.
It just is kind of telling you.
Just
I did
you
see that part on the video I watched.
And even if they like play a card, it moves in their hand. It shows you actually which card it is in their hand. So that's kind of interesting.
So they have to play it if they're trying to be like tricks. Like they can't hide it. They can't be like, okay.
And the same thing goes for if they go search for something, reveal it, and put it on top of their library. Their library stays revealed on top until they draw that card.
Okay, and then that card shows up in their hand as well.
Oh, I didn't make note of that. No, I don't think so. I think it's just
on top, and then once it went into the hand.
Correct.
Okay.
Then it's into their hand. So.
And then
that I thought was interesting because that sometimes you forget what the card was exactly, but that's kind of the paper game of it. Like we have to deal with real life, but this is digital, so it's making it a little more user friendly for people, so they don't have to be like, oh god, what was that card again? Because most people aren't going to be your new people aren't going to be that familiar where they're like, oh yeah, that card, I remember that. I'm going to keep that in my memory. So I think that's why they're trying to draw new people in and to keep playing the game, so it kind of benefits them.
Wizards always is trying to work towards trying to bring new players, like get a larger player base and keep people, or just getting people in to buy more and more stuff. Getting back to like the visuals and stuff like that, from my first question, like I know you had mentioned before, like it's like Hearthstone. Yeah. I never played Hearthstone, so is it similar? Like, do you think it's actually going to drag Hearthstone people over because it visually and or mechanically is playing like Hearthstone? Or?
It depends on the people. So personally, I stopped playing Hearthstone because it was just like it's too much like Magic, and I want it to be Magic, and so I was kind of like, I don't know. Okay. I didn't want to put my time into it because I kind of had heard rumors, but that was a long time ago, so it actually has taken them a long time to get to this point.
Yeah.
The thing about Hearthstone and all those other games was they're like Magic, how they play. Well, now we actually have a game that is Magic. It may draw back some of those players because there are some top players that did leave Magic and they're top players.
Go with. Yeah, well, I think actually a top, like, quote unquote professional Magic player helped develop Hearthstone.
That makes
and
sense.
there have been professional like Magic players that go off and make other games that are pretty successful but kind of similar.
Yeah,
like,
that's the one game I do
I
play on
believe
my phone.
Ascension was built by or created by a professional Magic player. I can't remember. I stopped really paying attention to the Pro Tour
right now. And as soon as Magic comes out, I'm going to probably be done with Eternal. But Eternal's made by
is it?
people that play Magic.
I've never
So
even
that
heard of
game
that,
is the most like Magic. Like, it's even more like Magic than frickin'
Magic?
Hearthstone is.
Oh.
No, but I mean, like, they just switch everything around, whereas Hearthstone doesn't have like haste and all that stuff necessarily. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, were you telling me about
Yeah.
this earlier? Where
So,
like
they
it
just
had
changed the
very
name.
similar
It's
things,
like,
but they changed the name.
Instead of haste, it's called charge. Instead of first strike, it's called quick draw. Like, they just, yeah, exactly. They just switch the name of it. But there's some cool mechanics that they do in the game that you can't do in a paper world, so it's never going to be paper. But of course, it's not going to be paper. Magic's the paper ruler of the world. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. It made me super excited for this to come out, and I'm not sure on the release date. I know earlier they had said the third quarter or fourth quarter of this year, and that was last year talking about it. So now they're doing the beta and the stress testing. Maybe it's going to be a little bit sooner, but we'll see.
I know like a lot of. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea. I have no idea about any of this tech stuff and how long it takes.
So that's my question for you: is if it does, when it does come out, do you think you're going to jump on, get your computer updated enough or whatever to
play?
Yeah, does that be kind of sweet? We could actually do some battles back and forth online and everything.
No.
What?
Maybe. Maybe. I'll take it's a.
I know you in technology.
Soft maybe.
Okay, just an FYI for all you out there. Lowry just got out of a flip phone about a year ago.
That's not true. That is not true.
Oh, sorry, 2 years ago.
It's been at least 4.
Lowry doesn't like to go with technology, and so I gotta force him. I'm just gonna put it on your lap and be like, Lowry, look at this. This is freaking sweet.
I am more than willing to like give it a try. Like if I'm on like your computer or whatever, I can see if I like it.
Yeah.
And then I might sit down and
I
do
guess
something about that.
It's not gonna feed my EDH commander fix because that's my baby. That's what I love. But I love playing standard. I like better than modern in this sense.
With Arena.
Well, because modern in itself is so. The game's over. We've talked about this in 2 or 3 turns, and it's just
it can be.
Yeah. If how the decks are built, or you build a deck where somebody doesn't even play a freaking card, like that's like, okay, this is solitaire. This isn't playing Magic. Whereas standard's a little more. You don't have that preciseness because you have only a limited amount of sets to choose from. So I kind of like that aspect.
More restrictions.
You're
more
still going to
restrictions.
get those combos to go off, but it's not as. It's not like you're
not as efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
So you like bad Magic.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that why I like Commander? No, I'm just kidding.
No, Commander's amazing Magic.
No, it frustrates the hell out of the modern players and all that because they want that consistency of being able to have 4 and only 60 cards. But that's what I loved about going back to last night. It was just one person was totally about to win, and then freaking he went all out, Tyson, and then we stopped it, and then it turned and switched to another
down a little bit, take him down a peg.
That's the cool thing about Magic. That's what I really love about it. But anyways, yeah, back to Arena. That's why I'm excited for this. Is like, it's not going to feed my Commander fix, but it
mix fix.
I will play it. Play it a lot.
Kicks.
We're just going to do a rhyming podcast.
We could. I've been reading a lot of Dr. Seuss lately.
Oh, I feel you too. I know what you're talking about. Dr. Seuss, oh man,
he's the man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways,
I did. But.
A couple other things with the Arena that I did like, and I've heard from other podcasts that the rewards weren't that good. Like when you beat somebody.
Oh yeah.
You didn't really get anything. You got like a crappy common or a crappy uncommon that you already owned anyways.
You just said you like bad Magic, so what's the problem with crappy commons?
Shut up, Lowry. But yeah, so the cool thing, I think they tweaked that since other podcasts have talked about it. Because I actually, after I beat somebody, I actually got to choose between either a pack or a card.
Or random the mystery card.
Yeah, it is. It's totally the mystery box. Like the Family Guy, if he's what. Never mind.
I know.
I'm going to go into that. But so you get the choice of choosing the card or the pack. And actually, I got shit luck there. I didn't get a good card.
Out of the mystery box?
Out of the mystery box.
Or mystery
card, I got a crappy card.
Yeah.
But later, they only had one option to flip the card over, and it was a rare. Not necessarily.
But if you're getting a pack, you're at least
you're
guaranteed 3 crappy cards, and then potentially an okay card.
The thing about the pack is that was the first time I saw it, so I thought I was getting all of that.
Oh.
To see the option of it, so I just clicked on the card because I wanted to see it, and then it was like, "This is the card you get," and the pack is gone. I'm like, "No!"
I want the cards. Yeah. It's all beta, so do you even you don't get to like keep
That's
the
why
cards
I didn't
or
care.
anything?
I was like,
okay,
whatever. Yeah. But you can tweak your decks. But I'm just playing to get the feel of how everything flows. Mm-hmm. And then each pack, I think it's different, but for the most part, it was like 8 cards you got, and you always got like a rare, not always a rare, because sometimes it's the other podcasts.
I'm sure that this part's gonna like be changed by the time they actually release stuff as well.
So they had like, I don't remember what they're called, but it wasn't an actual card. It's like so you can get this random generated card.
Points.
Kind of.
Was it?
Well, so how Hearthstone does it is dust. You can break down your cards,
that's
extra
how
cards.
Hearthstone does it?
Well, but this isn't. They're not doing the Hearthstone way, but I've been hearing a lot of talk that they might. I don't know. So, like I said, I only played about 9 games on Friday, and then I played a couple more this weekend. It was a busy weekend playing Commander.
Yeah.
So I don't have a huge feel for how everything works. There's others that have been playing.
But it was enjoyable experience.
Very much.
In general.
I'm excited for it. Let's just say that. So
you get excited about a lot of things, though. So
what does that mean?
My toast bounced out of the toaster. I'm excited.
What example is that?
It's a bad one, but
did you see me yesterday doing that?
It was an example of you getting. It was an example of you getting excited over something very small, and
toast is pretty big.
You like
it's
toast.
Exciting.
You like peanut butter toast. So I'm just saying, use an Eggo waffle.
I love those too.
Yeah, me too.
Cool story, Hansel. Should we go on to the next segment?
Spoilers.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we're talking about spoilers.
Well, yeah, we don't have an opening necessarily.
No, I just did it. That is the opening. Spoilers. You're supposed to we echo off of. Could have been like that.
I'm just gonna take.
I think you're doing this to me on purpose.
I'm gonna take a sip of my pop.
Pop.
Anyways, let's start off with our first spoiler. We're actually gonna start with rarity and work our way down. I'm gonna read the first one. No, I'm gonna read the first one because this one's easier to read. Lyra Dawnbringer.
Lyra Dawnbringer.
So it's
Did you mean Baneslayer Angel?
Yeah, exactly. It's 3 and 2 white, legendary creature, angel, flying, first strike, lifelink. Other angels you control get 1/1 and lifelink, and it's a 5/5.
Yeah, super powerful.
Do you remember when Sarah Angel was?
Sarah Angel was amazing,
and it's
back in the day.
A 4/4 with vigilance
and flying. That's flying.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
and actually, isn't Sarah Angel's making her appeance back in this?
Yeah, she's going to be an uncommon in Dominaria, but I thought we weren't going to talk about it, but
I just talked about it. So
if you don't have one, they're really easy to get. So, but Lyra seems like it's probably the first outright make an angel commander deck.
Yeah. Making everything with the lifelink. I mean, the 1/1 is meh. I mean, whatever, that helps with.
But giving lifelink to flying fatties is pretty solid. And then her and herself, I just wish you just have a vigilance themed with her, and then just block, get the lifelink, kill a bunch of stuff with the first strike. She's really powerful. Yeah,
I'm not probably gonna make a commander with. It's the mono stuff. The mono stuff I can't. I don't like commanders. I mean, I do have some mono decks, but I don't know if I make an angel deck. I do have an angel, the Kalia. No, I don't.
No,
I'm a liar.
That's gone.
Yep, I killed that a while ago.
Long time ago.
She's in my dragon deck. Let's put it that way.
Kalia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
not a commander.
So, anyways, next card.
I can agree with you, but I think she's going to be used a whole ton. She's going to be pretty fun. Next card that we want to kind of bring up is Naru Miha.
We want to kind of bring it up. So
yeah, kind of. Master Wizard.
Right there.
We're done. It's 2 colorless, 2 blue, 3/3 with flash, and then whenever it enters the battlefield, you can copy a spell that you control. And then it also gives all wizards you control +1/+1. So, I mean, first off, I had a friend that had to like convince me that this card was good.
Yeah, because I was like, but yeah, I get what once you explained it.
Yeah, and so it goes infinite with a couple of different cards. Like if you have...
It still is for us because we're like, infinite.
Yeah,
try to stay away from that.
I think it's an okay value card, but you need to like... It's 4 mana, and it has to be a spell that you play. Mm-hmm. And so you need to be at like 7 mana, which is pretty late game to be doing anything, really. Or not late game, but it can be... If you're going infinite, you won the game at turn 7, great.
Yeah.
So you can like flicker. I'm trying to think of some of the cards that my buddy told me about, but any spell that will like copy a creature, you can play her, and then copy that, and then
make a copy
do
of her,
a bunch
do
of
it,
and continue doing it. And if you have any ETB effects, you got that infinitely a little bit. If you got Mirror Gallery, you're gonna have a ton of them and make 1,000, whatever, thousands and thousands of this Master Wizard. I don't even know how to really... Naru Miha.
That's how I would have pronounced it.
Miha Yuha.
Let's move ha on to the next one.
Move ha.
Did that work? No, not really.
Sure.
Demonlord Belzenlok, right? Got it? Belzenlok?
I like it. Belzenlok.
Yeah, Belzenlok. That's a pretty sweet demon. 4 and 2 black. Legendary creature. Elder Demon.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Elder Demon. I just saw it.
Elder Dragons. Elder
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, Elder
Dinosaurs. Oh, man. We got the Elders going. EDH. It's a flying...
Do you think Lord of the Pit's going to be an Elder Dragon or a demon?
Oh, because didn't they just reprint in Iconic?
That doesn't count, though.
But it just happened.
They did.
I think it just stayed demon, wasn't it? I don't remember.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
But yeah, so flying trample 6/6. But when he enters the battlefield, exile cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. Then put that card into your hand if it has converted mana cost 4 or greater. It totally is 4 or greater. I thought it was 6. Off the top of my memory, I thought it was 6. 4 or greater. Repeat the process. I still did it again. Repeat the process.
Repeat?
Yeah, shut up. And then Demonlord deals 1 damage to you for each card you put into your hand this way. So freaking A, you just...
It's awesome card advantage for black, like, in my mind.
If you wanted to freaking go out, well, now you want to kill yourself. I was about to say, you really want to go out, make this your commander, and everything costs 4 in your deck. And it's like, draw. Oh, damn it, I'm dead.
I'm sure there's a way of being able to take advantage of that.
Oh, yeah. So I think it's a pretty sweet card. I don't think it's going to get like crazy in price, maybe. This is early to say, because now I'm going to say, that's not going to be that crazy. And then it comes out and somebody finds the brokenness with it, which they will.
I think it's a lot more fun to just say, this is a really cool card. Yeah. I'm not going to guess at the price of it.
Let's wait for a while and then we'll see the price.
Let's see people break this thing. And then if that's the case, then it could go bonkers because it's pretty cheap.
Yeah. So,
and this is like, the next card is... super like flavor is like history. Jaya Ballard Planeswalker, 2 colorless, 3 red, and then so it's +1 is add 3 red mana, spend this mana only to cast instants or sorcery spells. Another +1 is to discard up to 3 cards, then draw that many cards, and then you can -8. You get an emblem with You may cast instants and sorcery cards from your graveyard. If a card cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead, and it starts at 5
That's
loyalty.
Pretty high. And it has 2 pluses, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, so there's no minus on it, and this is red. This is kind of how, like, she's an old pyromancer. She has a card from Time Spiral, I believe, but she's not a planeswalker.
That's what I was going to say. I've never seen... I was going to ask to make sure I was correct with that, but I haven't seen her as a planeswalker for this first time.
Yeah, so she was a legendary creature that had 3 different abilities. Like, you discarded a card and you could deal damage to a creature, a player, or surround damage to all
So it was getting her ready to be a planeswalker.
Yeah.
Here's your test. You get 3 abilities. Let's see how you handle it. Good job. All right, now you're going to be a planeswalker.
And so she has a lot of great history. Actually, you can have, like, if you go back and look at flavor text from, like, Chandra cards, she'll bring up Jaya.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she'll be like, she would have been really cool to meet. And so, like, they're doing that now.
Nice.
And so they're going to show, like...
That's pretty sweet.
The old Pyromancer and mixing it up with Chandra and showing the new one. But I think just, like, flavor-wise, she was perfect. That's what you wanted. So.
Awesome. Yeah, then we'll continue with another Planeswalker. We actually kind of talked about this one before, but we'll bring it up again. It's probably one of the more hyped one. The hyped one in the set is Karn, Scion of Urza. It's a 4 colorless Planeswalker. Comes in with 5 loyalty. And this is just your draw engine, pretty much.
Yeah, and colorless.
Yeah, you reveal the top... Your +1 is to reveal the top 2 cards. A player... puts one in exile, you draw the other one. Your minus is put a card from exile into your hand, and then your -2 is put a 0/0 colorless construct onto the battlefield, and it's an artifact, and it gets 1/1 for each artifact that is in play. So I think this is it is already high at $32, and it hasn't even come out yet. I think this is going to probably be standard. Maybe see it. I don't know. Do you think we see it in modern decks?
I think it can work its way in there. 4 mana colorless planeswalker is
pretty freaking sick.
Yeah, and it's just putting cards into your hand.
Yeah, draw engine like crazy. It's pretty insane. And the art. I love the art with this. It actually kind of reminds me of what's his name from X-Men? The
Professor X?
No, the big bad guy, the big...
Oh, Magneto?
No, the big blue bad guy that's the destroyer.
Apocalypse?
I guess so, it is Apocalypse. It kind of looks like Apocalypse there a little bit.
He kind of does. Yeah. I'll go with that.
And he has the world on his hand right there. God, I couldn't believe... I was thinking, is it Apocalypse? But it's the new movie that's coming out, right? And he's in it?
No, he was in the last one. Apocalypse was.
Oh, yeah,
then right. This next coming up one is the Dark Phoenix.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right, and then next one... This one's pretty interesting.
I think it's always going to be powerful when you have a Mox attached to the name.
Yeah.
Even if they're trying to depower it. So Mox Amber, it's 0 casting artifact, legendary artifact. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control.
So this works with Commander pretty dang well because your Commander's legendary.
Yeah, and...
even if you do a legendary planeswalker. Oh, wait, it's legendary.
Yeah. I really like it. I think it's going to be pretty highly demanded because it allows you to ramp. It kind of stops you because you can't. It doesn't tap for anything until you get a legend.
Get something out. Yeah.
So I think it's really well balanced. I wouldn't buy it at its pre-sale price, but I wouldn't buy most cards at pre-sale price.
Because this one's sitting at $30.
I think I don't think it's going to be played. Well, with all these legends, it might be played a ton in standard.
Yeah.
But with it being a legend, it kind of restricts it from being able to be like played as a 4 of successfully. Really.
Yeah.
Or it can. I guess you can, tap it and then play another one, kill that one, tap another one. You can kind of string it along like that, but...
Well, no, because it says legendary creatures.
Sure, but I'm just saying if you can tap it 4 mana,
gotcha.
And then you can play another one, and then you sacrifice the tapped one, and then you can tap the new Mox Amber. So if you got 4, maybe that's the way to go, because they do that with Mox Opal. in Affinity Modern, and then you do that with like Gaia's Cradle. When you play a land, you tap it for a ton.
Yeah.
Play another Gaia's Cradle, get rid of the one you tapped, and tap for a ton more mana.
But the hard part is you got to have that legendary creature or planeswalker.
Yeah, you have to have that there
to start triggering. But
so it doesn't ramp you until you get your legend. So I think, like, in my mind, I want to play like a 1 or 2 mana legend.
Yeah. So
that
you can easily have
Risk the Redeemed from Shadowmoor.
Yep.
That gets you a green or a white, and you can do that pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool.
I definitely want one, but like you said, I'm not going to go out and buy it. I'm hoping we get it in our box.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Boxes.
Coming soon.
Next one is another artifact, but we got a vehicle again. I kind of like that they keep throwing the vehicles here and there. But
I do like it too, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
To have it as a vehicle. This one.
So it's Waetherlight. It's 4 colorless legendary artifact vehicle, flying 4/5. Whenever it deals damage or combat damage to a player, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a historic card. Remember, historic is artifacts, legendaries, or sagas. You reveal a historic card from among them, put it into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And it's crew 3. So I kind of dig this card. You reminded me it's like another card.
It's very similar to Dragonlord Ojutai from the Khans of Tarkir block,
which is a pretty sweet card in itself. Yeah, I guess but that one's a little better. But this one, it can be in any deck, whereas that one you're specific to white and blue.
Yeah, white and blue.
So, but yeah, it's a very similar.
Yeah, and the Weatherlight is so iconic in the storyline of Magic.
Yeah,
you can say that about so many cards from Dominaria. It's going to be really fun to be able to open and look.
The thing I want to do is I haven't played with a lot of vehicles, and I want to start implementing those more into decks. And none of us really have done that. That and Matriarch. I want people to start using that, which is the making the person gets to draw an extra card at the end of their turn. Yeah, end of their turn. Monarch. There we go. Matriarch.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, Monarch. But yeah,
close.
So I kind of want our play group to start implementing that, but you don't see that a lot because it was only in Conspiracy. So, but yeah, vehicles I kind of want to start implementing into our stuff.
I think it can be fun. They get around like board wipes really well because they're only a creature for a short amount of time. In my mind, they're similar to like manlands, but you're paying mana for it, but it can get around some removal, and it's nice to have like when it attacks or when it deals damage, those types of effect to give it a little bit more of a boost, because you have to always pay into it you got to tap 3 power to make it have that ability. And so it's not a mana thing, but you don't always have those resources, so it can be a spotty thing in my mind. And
then we move into our last mythic that we
want to talk about. And this one, I think it's really cool. It's going to be it's another Planeswalker, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. It has 3 colorless, white and a blue to cast, 4 loyalty, and then you can +1 it to draw a card at the beginning of your next end step. Untap 2 lands, which is really good for control. -3, put target non-land permanent into its owner's library, 3rd from the top, which is
pretty sweet.
Freaking ridiculous.
Not on top.
But that would put it down to 1 loyalty if you did it right off the bat.
But you're getting rid of a big threat that potentially could be on the board
and
right
third,
away.
And then you just make them shuffle, or they're going to shuffle. That happens a lot. Or you can -8 it for the ultimate. You get an emblem with whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent and opponent controls, which again is ridiculous. Target permanent doesn't matter.
Land.
You can remove their lands. That is bonkers.
And if you put this in a draw type of deck, that could be brutal.
It just
play that with what is it? Time Sieve, the tap 2 and 2 blue and X, and then draw X cards, but then you got to discard a card.
That's not Time
Sieve. What is it now? I gotta look it up. Time
Sieve is a black-blue artifact. So you tap it, sacrifice 5 artifacts, and take another turn.
What is that one? It was just in, wasn't it Amonkhet?
It was in Amonkhet.
Yeah. Now I gotta figure this out. But You keep talking about that other stuff.
That other stuff. Well, okay, so Teferi has a great card from Time Spiral as well, and that's it's another great control card. So I suggest people go and check that one out, and this one is going to be awesome. I think it's bonkers.
Well, that other Teferi, right? You were talking about this one?
No, I'm not even talking about that one. Teferi Timebender is another one. That's so there are two. They come out with Planeswalker decks now, and they feature Planeswalkers as the front card. It's always foil, and it's always bad. So, like, I don't even want to talk about them.
I thought you said you wanted to talk about Teferi when we were talking about You liar!
No, I don't want to talk about either of those. They just seem like so blah. Like, they're just overcosted, underpowered. Unless they're doing something specific that you want to be doing in the deck. Generally, the Planeswalkers from the...
Well, FNA, I'm not finding what I'm looking for, and I don't want to waste more time.
No, yeah, just let me...
just keep stalling, Lowry. But it's what it was it's 2 blue, X, and you draw X cards as an instant, and then you have to discard a card. So that would work freaking awesome. And there's plenty of other cards. That draw
a ton of cards. Yeah.
So I don't need to be specific into that. But anyways, let's move on to the next. Actually, we're going to move into the next section, which would be the rares. We got a handful of those bad boys. So the first one we will talk about is... Which one are we talking about first?
Do you want to talk about the Antiquities War?
Oh, yep. That's what we'll start first. So that is a saga. It's our first saga we're going to talk about. And it is 3 colorless and blue. And when it comes into play, you do the first 2 actually sagas. The first... How sagas work, you do the first turn... You put a token on it for that saga, and then you move on down to the third one. When you do the third token, you sacrifice it. So the first one is look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So your first 2 turns, you get to look at the top 5 cards and put an artifact in your hand. Then the last one, when you sacrifice it, is artifacts you control become artifact creatures with haste... Or no, with base power, 5 and... Sorry. They turn into 5/5 creatures.
Until end of turn.
Until end of turn. They don't have haste, so if you did bring an artifact into play, it won't actually be able to attack there. But that's pretty sweet if you're playing an artifact-heavy deck, which blue tends to do a lot of times.
Blue definitely can do that, and there's... March of the Machines does something... Or no, so... Tezzeret's ability does this.
Yep.
His ultimate will turn...
The 2 Tezzerets... Oh, not do this.
No, just the one.
The searching for 5. Both Tezzerets kind of do something similar. Why do I just...
Well, there's newer Tezzerets that I don't know as well, but the first Tezzeret gets to untap 2 artifacts, or you go and search for an artifact that you minus the loyalty, and then you get to search for that mana cost of an artifact and put it into play. Or you're minusing for the ultimate and turning all your artifacts into 5/5s. But they did some in the Aether Revolt. Why am I blanking on the name of that? It's a new set. I just said
Schemer?
it. No. Yeah, well, Tezzeret the Schemer right there that you've kind of pulled up for us.
Kaladesh was the...
Kaladesh is what I'm trying to,
The Ambition? Tezzeret Ambition?
Well, that was...
that's not even freaking...
So,
Tezzeret I'm looking for.
I don't know specifically which one you're talking about, other than the first Tezzeret.
Okay.
So...
But, yeah,
because Agent of Bolus deals damage, twice as many artifacts as you have.
Anyways, let's move on to the next one.
We got to get better at finding cards on the fly.
Before we start talking. Oh, yeah, this one.
Master of Metal. So that's
the one I was thinking about.
So Tezzeret Master of Metal is one of those bad Planeswalker decks.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was in there, but it's reveal the top cards of your library and reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact. Put that card into your hand and put the others in your at the bottom of your library in a random order. So basically, this is better because you actually... Well, no, because you can choose 5. If you're playing an artifact-heavy deck, if you had multiple artifacts,
if you have
can
3
choose.
In there, you can choose whatever...
But I would say this one's nice if you weren't an artifact-heavy deck and you just wanted to get a certain art
to that one,
because then you can file through a bunch of cards.
Yes.
So
I don't know.
But hey, I knew I was onto something that I wasn't freaking
totally
crazy.
onto something,
or on something.
Common man.
Is that what he does?
On something or on to something? It's a bit that they have. Common man, K-fan personality, super awesome. I really enjoy him.
All right, next card is on you, Lowry.
So what?
Are you talking about Marwyn the Nurturer?
I can't actually read it off the computer.
Lowry has bad eyes.
Real bad eyes.
He has to read it off his phone instead of the computer in front of him.
So Marwyn the Nurturer is 2 colorless green, 1/1 legendary creature, elf druid. Whenever another elf enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Marwyn the Nurturer. You can tap her and add an amount of green equal to Marwyn's power. So that she's just super rampy. Like, your elves are already going to get you mana for the most part.
Yeah.
And then she's going to get you more mana.
Yeah.
And then, you can even Voltron her and just put a bunch of equipment that pump her and be able to tap it for a bunch of mana.
Yeah, she's pretty freaking badass.
I think she's really powerful.
Yep, I think so too. But I mean, there's some similar elves, but this one doesn't have all the stuff that she has, adding that counter and everything, and it's not that much to get her out. So yeah, I definitely like her. I
think it's just kind of like elf deck.
Yeah,
it screams elf deck. That's what you're gonna do. You got a bunch of choices for elf decks. So if you can think of something kind of cool to run with her, go for it.
The next card we got is another angel. So this is our first angel in the rare spot, and it is Shyla, right? Shyla?
Good job.
All right, Shyla, voice of plenty.
Shyla buff.
Shyla, voice
Shalai?
of boof.
Shalai?
Yeah. 3 and 1 for a 3/4 flying legendary creature angel. You planeswalkers you control and other creatures you control have hexproof. That is freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Not only that, you can tap 4 and 2 green. That's kind of interesting, but this makes sense because it puts 1/1 counters on each creature you control. So kind of the green ability of putting counters. And that would
put a 1/1 counter on herself as well.
So yeah, it doesn't say each other.
She'd be a green-white commander, and she's pretty reminiscent of like Sigarda.
Yeah.
Host of Herons to me.
Yeah.
So I think she's pretty cool. I don't know if she's better than like Sigarda. Definitely not better than the first Sigarda that came out in Avacyn Restored. But maybe comparable for the newer Sigarda.
I could see this being actually a commander. Because it's
so too.
2-color. It's not just a mono white. Yeah. You'd actually
2-color. It's only 4
white.
to come out for a 3/4 flyer.
Yeah, and it gives all your stuff hexproof.
That's kind of solid.
But it doesn't give her hexproof.
Well, yeah, you got to protect her still somehow.
Yeah, but everything. I mean, Planeswalker deck. You can have that's just pretty sweet to not have anything targeted. But there isn't a lot of targeting of specific planeswalkers. But if you do the direct damage and all that, you can target it. So, but yeah. Anyways, I kind of dig her. So. Next one, I think we go to Naban. Is that what we were calling
Naban.
Naban?
I'll go.
Yep.
Naban, Dean of Iteration, which is a colorless blue 2/1 legendary creature, human wizard. And then when it's in play, if a wizard entering the battlefield enters your control, causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So essentially, this is Panharmonicon for wizards.
Yep. Get this and Panharmonicon on the same freaking deck.
And then try and read that together.
It's like,
if you have a wizard enter the battlefield, it will trigger one time, and then it's going to trigger another time, and then we'll trigger it one more time for Panharmonicon.
I'm just going to sit on the floor and suck my thumb because I have no idea what's going on.
But it might actually trigger another time because it's triggering Naban as well, potentially. I'd have to think about that a little bit.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's build a deck with it.
So, but the card that I really wanted to put Naban in was the wizard deck that the precon.
Yeah,
that
definitely. Yeah, I was thinking that.
So, like, because I want to play with ETB wizards in that deck already, and then this just is a cheaper Panharmonicon in that deck.
Yeah. But then you got to add Panharmonicon.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
You got to make sure
we use it as a spec, so we're going to use it in everything that we possibly can.
If you got to
just
get that
prove ourselves right,
that freaking craziness will happen. I'm going to read two pretty quick here because Gilded Lotus is a reprint. So we had talked about that card before a few episodes ago about one of the cards that you should own.
It's for artifacts.
Yeah, for artifacts.
It should be going a ton of your decks.
This is out.
It's a great reprint, and this
pretty
set,
sweet art too. I like it. The little gold Gilded Lotus,
and the price should go down. I don't know if it's going to get much lower than like $4 or $5.
Yeah, this is going to go back up again. So this one you're going to want to pick up as many as you can. Maybe the foils, because
potentially it's the best time to be able to get a foil if you're into that kind of stuff.
And really quick, it's 5, tap it. And add 3 color of any mana. 5 colors to bring out. So then I'll go into the next one, another artifact, which this one is pretty friggin' sweet. Helm of the Host. It's 4 to come out. Legendary artifact equipment. At the beginning of your combat of your turn, create a token that's a copy of the equipped creature, except there isn't the legendary rule for the equipped creature. It isn't legendary. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, it isn't.
It isn't legendary, so it makes a copy and just takes the legendary part about it out, and then that token gains haste. It doesn't get sacrificed; it gains haste, and it stays
around.
And has equip 5. This is going my equipment deck for sure, and this could go into some freaking any deck. I mean, you get rid of the legendary rule, like legendary,
really powerful.
Yeah.
It's expensive, and the first time, like I totally expected you to have to sacrifice
the
token afterwards, and you just don't have to, and it feels really powerful.
Yeah, I agree. So that pretty much wraps up our rares. Now we're gonna get into our uncommons.
Yeah.
And to start us off,
and like I said, I feel like there's a ton of uncommons that are really powerful.
Yeah,
they
so we're not going to talk about all
like
of
rares.
the ones. Yeah, but we kind of broke down this list a little bit more, just to the ones that are pretty interesting as far as commander wise.
Yeah, and so one of the ones is Baird, Steward of Argive. 2 colorless, 2 white. It's a 2/4 vigilance, and creatures can't attack you unless they or a planeswalker you control, unless that controller pays 1 mana for each creature attacking you.
So it's kind of like a Ghostly Prison, little less,
or a propaganda, and
or
it just
like that angel that does the same thing.
And on your commander, this is a legendary creature, so it could be your commander, and that could bog a game down pretty quick.
At least not make you the target, so that's kind of nice.
Exactly. So
and
I think
it's an uncommon spot, which is pretty sweet.
It feels really powerful.
Yeah.
Again, it could easily be a rare in another set.
And then we go into another white commander potential card, Danitha
Capashen
Paragon.
I think I just go Caption.
Okay,
Capashen
Paragon. It is 2 and 1 white. It is a legendary creature, Human Knight. She has First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink, Aura, and equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and she's a 2/2. So that's pretty sweet.
It screams just Voltron, putting auras and equipment on it and making it huge, together. Or just making it easier. A real quick note on her too is that a big player in the old story is Gerard Caption, and so she would be a long distance relative of one of the main characters of like Magic lore. So
Lowry's our lore guy.
A little bit.
Yeah, you are. It's awesome though, because it's like, oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty sweet. I like to hear the freaking story. I'm starting to understand it more, whereas before I was like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Lowry. Stop talking, Lowry. You confuse me with your words and your stories. And then our next one we're getting into is we're actually going to move into the red. This could be a commander. I don't even know how you would say this dude's name.
Valdok, Keeper of the Flame, which would be 2 colorless and a red. It's a 3/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Valdok, Create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step.
Yeah, you can do some pretty crazy things with this, attaching so much equipment to them and just making these little 3/1s running around.
Yeah, little elemental babies.
Yeah,
you got
sacrifices at the end of turn. But if you had some sack stuff too, or sack engines or whatever, you could
take advantage of this quite well. And again, it's only an uncommon. Yeah. This feels really powerful for uncommon.
Rare. And then the next one we get into even feels more like a rare or even a mythic. It's Dampening Spheres.
This is crazy.
It's an artifact for 2. If a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, Gaia's Cradle, it produces 1 colorless instead of any other type and the amount. So if I'm tapping it for like 10 and nope, it's only 1 and it's 1 colorless. And then it also says each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell that player has cast this turn. So it's stopping people from freaking going crazy.
Yeah, it stops storming
off.
And Tron in Modern. Yeah. It stops Gaia's Cradle. It slows a game down to a comparable speed, especially and it's only 2 mana.
Yeah, that's why it's already a $6 uncommon.
Yeah, it's. I think it's really. It's going
to be silly, though, because we're going to open our 2 boxes, and we may get 1 each out of the... Whereas all the other uncommons...
what we got with, Path to Exile and Bloodbraid Elf back in the day?
Yeah, so it's uncommon, but really, this guy's probably should be a rare. And then we round off our uncommons. And we're actually going to wait on talking about commons. At the end, we may, when it's all released, we'll come in later.
But Zalfarin Void, which is a land, when it comes into the battlefield, you scry 1, and it can tap for a colorless mana. Very simple, but it doesn't come into play tapped. You can use it right away, which is very important.
The scry lands do come into play tapped.
The scry lands from the Theros block come into play tapped, but they give you 2 different colors.
Yeah, and then scrying is like drawing half a card.
Pretty much. It's a good way of looking at it. It gives you some good information off the top of your library. You might want to get rid of it if you don't like it.
You have a ton of land in your hand already, and the top card's a land. Whoop, that's on the bottom.
Yeah,
so.
It's. I think it's a really solid card.
Yeah, I'll probably start putting that into quite a few decks. Not ones that get to 3 or more colors because I need the actual colors.
Yeah, you need.
But 2-colored decks, there. I can definitely see that happening. So, and that rounds up our spoilers.
The spoilers that we'll talk about.
Spoilers.
And so hopefully they keep on releasing stuff. We're about 3 weeks out from release. Yeah. But I think there's only going to be about 2 weeks more of spoilers.
When's release date?
It comes out, I believe it's the 26th or 27th of April.
Yep, so we're almost at 3 weeks out. So now we move into Smith Specs of the Week.
Why'd you say it like that?
Where's my Echo, Lowry? Come on.
We're in my basement. It's not very good sound stuff.
This is our new studio. We had to...
It's not our new studio. It's just we had to adjust where we were.
Our schedules and everything. That's what happens when you have kids and working and all that stuff. We have to figure out the best way to work this. And then there's a mini snowstorm. It's not even a snowstorm. We're in Minnesota. There's only going to be an inch, but it's ice.
It's April 8th, and it's ice snow.
Yeah. Where it's just
ridiculous.
South of us is getting tons of inches here, so yeah.
They deserve it.
That's your brother you're talking about.
He does. Well, he's all right.
All right. First spec, I guess I'll start off. Is I actually bought a few of these this week. Is Rebuild, and I'm actually talking about the foils of this. What Rebuild is. It's from Urza's Legacy. It's 2 and 1 blue. It's an instant. This works freaking awesome with EDH here, but it's return all artifacts to owner's hands. Now, you might want to put this more in a deck that you're not playing a lot of artifacts, but you can actually put it in a deck that you do have your normal amount of artifacts, and if it doesn't work with the situation that you have at hand, you can cycle it out of your hand and draw a card instead. But this affects so many people with
the mana rocks that you got out, and thinking about it, you could even put it in the new Joria deck. That it's red-blue whenever you play an artifact, you get to draw a card or a legendary.
So it can actually help you out.
Yeah, and then you can continue playing those artifacts. You might be
bring your Soul Ring back. Oh wait, I'm gonna play. And draw a card. And
that seems like a really cool way of doing it.
Yeah. So and this card right now, the foils are sitting at about $6. They had a couple, like a little spike, but that isn't really, when they do just a day spike, I don't really follow that. But it has been on the rise for a little bit. I'm a liar. Actually, in the last couple months, it's gone up maybe a buck and a half. But the inventory on this, when I was actually buying it, it was sparse. And because it's an older set, the lightly played ones, there are not many of those at all. So,
oh, really?
So I picked up, I think, 10 of these guys.
Okay.
So,
one that I keep on going back to the Saplings because I really like that uncommon like Slimefoot guy from this set.
Yeah.
But
uncommon.
Uncommon, and it's super powerful. But the card is Sapling Symbiosis that I would suggest as a speculation. The foil version. So Sapling Symbiosis is a sorcery that's 3 colorless and a green, and then you can pay 2 to play it at instant speed. But then what it does is you put a 1/1 green sapling creature into play for each creature you control. So it kind of doubles the amount of creatures that you have, puts a ton of saplings into play, and then with that Slimefoot guy, you can sacrifice more saplings that deal more damage, gain you more life. It just feels like a really powerful card in there.
I've used this in my sapling deck. Yeah. It's a pretty sweet card.
And it's a older set from Invasion. Foil is going for about $7 right now. Non-foil is going for like right around $3.
Now, the one thing I notice with the foils, I think your foils are a good bet on that.
Yeah, I think the foil is the better bet.
Yeah, well,
or for like a better
spec that you picked there, because you can see it actually had a rise right when Masters 25, so
right around the leak.
Yep, exactly. And then we have a dip actually in the prices. So what that is some of the cheaper ones are getting bought up, and it's showing the dip, and now we have it rising back up, so getting up to $7. So I think you're right. I mean, the inventory on this probably is getting bought up. And with all the Sapling stuff and probably new EDH stuff, this is probably going to go crazy. Good spec, Lowry. I like it.
You're so much more positive about this than I am.
You're like, you're a shitty spec, Adam. I'm just not going to say it. I'm just going to keep it in my head.
Too much. Like another card I butter over toast. Spread thin.
What?
Huh? That was a...
What is that from? Yeah, I recognize it.
That's from... the Hobbit movie.
Oh, I should know that.
Yeah, you should. All right.
That's not the Hobbit movie. That's the Lord of the Rings.
No, it's Hobbit.
Well, that's from the Lord of the Rings. When he
at
goes...
the beginning? Is it?
It's the second... Or not the second one. It's like the second part of the Fellowship of the Ring when they go see Bilbo. And now we're getting your Bilbo and Lord of the Rings talk.
Yeah.
But it's when he's talking after he takes the ring off. Or no, it's when he's going to take the ring off. He's saying he feels old, but he doesn't look it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And
that's
so
in the first
felt
one.
like butter being spread. Good reference, Larry.
I'm trying.
All right, my next spec, Blood Gift Demon, the foil from Innistrad. It's the only foil printing. Right now, this is sitting at about $375. It is 3 and 2 black, flying demon. It's a 5/4. The key to this card is at the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses a life. I'll lose a life and draw an extra card.
Well, another cool thing, though, is like if somebody's down to like 1 life, you can be like, you can draw a card and lose a life and die.
Now, this has been printed twice. It was in Commander, but not foil. So that's why I'm focused on the foil ones of these. And I think I actually picked up 10 of these for under 3 on TCG right now.
And funny thing is like when I've made up my list, this was actually on my list as
too.
well.
You're
yeah.
Like,
and once I saw you have it down, I was like, well, I'll scratch it off my list. It's a great
I gotta
idea.
do more work, damn it. It's like, I wrote it out first, Lowry. I dated when I wrote it out.
You won.
I'm just kidding.
You win. So, no, I really like... I think it's a really good card in Commander. It's a really aggressive Phyrexian Arena.
Yeah, that was the other part I wanted to say. It's in 10,000 decks in EDH, right?
Is it?
Yeah. So it's used a lot in EDH. And so that was another big reason why I wanted to put that. Now, when I talked about Rebuild earlier, it's not on a lot of decks because it's an older card. So a lot of the older ones...
Yeah, and it's similar, like you can do Hercules Recall, which is similar, but it's just 2 mana, but you don't have the cycling attached to it. So,
all right, on to your second pick there, Lyle.
One that I really like this card. I don't actually know if it's going to be worth anything, but Retreat to Coral Helm. It's from Battle for Zendikar. So it was printed a whole ton, but it's an enchantment. It's 2 colorless and a blue, and it has landfall. Whenever a land comes into play, you can either choose to scry 1, or you can choose to tap or untap target creature.
That's pretty sweet. Actually, the funny thing is when you said this spec, when this set came out, I spec'd on this, but that was when I did regulars and not...
Yeah, and I have regulars and foils of this one because I really like this card, and I play with it in a lot of decks.
Yeah, so I have about 50 of the regular, which hasn't gone up in price, but I think your foil version...
Non-foil's like 20 cents, but foil is going for about $2 right now, so that shows you that there's a discrepancy. Like, people are liking it, but there was a ton of printing for non-foil. Also, it is played in a modern deck that comes with Knight of the Reliquary. So it allows you, Knight of the Reliquary, you can tap it, sacrifice a land, go put a land from your deck into play, which untaps Knight of the Reliquary, which allows you to tap it, and then you're able to do like a soft combo.
Yeah. And
so you can get really close and or gain a ton of mana and then kill somebody with Knight of the Reliquary.
It's not threatening enough where somebody, when you play it, is going to be like, I gotta kill that, but it's slowly helping
it's
your
a
deck
lot
be
of
more
really,
efficient.
and it works really well with fetches. If you can play your fetch and scry 1, if you don't like it, or you can tap down one of their creatures and attack
on their turn or something like that.
Once and then you can fetch, go put a land into play, and tap down one of their biggest creatures as well.
I dig it.
So it's pretty versatile.
And you said the price about $2?
Yeah, about $2 for the foil.
Nice. Yeah, I might pick up a couple copies of that guy too. Very nice. My last one. So this one I've kind of had on my radar for a while, and then it spiked, which then I was like, dang it, I should have jumped on that before. I actually bought over 100 of the regular. This is still when I was buying the regular.
Before foils.
But it's Zendikar Resurgent, and this is a big casting cost, but this screams EDH. It's 5 and 2 green. It's an enchantment. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 more mana to your mana pool of any type that land produced. That kind of stuff is freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's a really great effect.
Yeah, but then it also has, whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. So it has 2 things that you like: more mana and drawing.
Yeah, and drawing is really awesome, and being able to I'm going to cast this spell, and then I'm going to draw into another one and cast that, or like a creature. And then you can just kind of string enough creatures together to make this really powerful. Now,
the reason why I'm saying it now to get on it, because before earlier or last summer, it was around $3, upper threes, and then people started actually realizing that it's a really good card. The foils jumped up to $10-15. Well, the prices have come down, and there's only been one printing for the foil version. It's been printed twice in a commander set. So it's just like my other card.
And the Gaze Watch.
Yep. Yeah, so it's only been printed once. You only have the one foil besides the game day foil printing. But then it's also same thing as Blood Gift Demon. It's in 13,000 EDH decks.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's being used a lot, and yeah. So I would say now is the time to get this, because I think we're actually going to get another spike. Soon more and more people play it. So
okay. Yeah, I think that's again really powerful card. And then the last one I want to talk about doesn't have a foil printing of it. It's Masterwork of Ingenuity. It was printed in the Commander 2014 year, and it's an equipment for 1 mana, and when it enters the battlefield, you can copy any equipment on the battlefield.
That's pretty sweet.
And then obviously it equips for whatever you're copying. But it just, it's really versatile. And, if somebody has a Swiftfoot Boots or a Lightning Greaves out, you can copy that. Yeah. Or if somebody plays a Batterskull, you can copy that.
Or if you're playing an equipment deck and you have
and you can abuse that.
Yeah,
you can go, Trinket Mage for that, where you're allowed to go find 1 mana artifact and put it in your hand. It's really cheap to be able to potentially copy something really powerful.
Yeah, and this has been on the rise over the last since fall. It's been kind of going up. So I agree. Yeah, it's only had the one
sitting
printing
about $4 right now.
Yeah,
and I think it's
it
on
has
the
rise. I think it's, if you're gonna get it, you get it now, because it keeps going up, and there isn't a printing of it on any set. It's just a commander set that it was in. So yeah, I like that one too. We just like each other's specs all the time.
Yeah, we're geniuses. Right.
Well, one thing I did want to mention, that was kind of the end of our specs, but Void Winnower was one I was gonna mention in this podcast
as a foil
spec, but that already jumped. So I bought earlier in the week, and then I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to talk about, and then it jumped up to $18. When I bought it, there was low inventory. There was only 8 copies of both the release day foils and the regular foils. So it's used in a lot of decks. So that's another reason why that got bought up.
You can't even.
Yeah, so that one, that's a good card, but I wouldn't say
missed the boat.
Yeah, kind of missed the boat, and it's probably going to still go up.
What is its non-foil price sitting at?
Non-foil is at $3.
$3. It's probably worth it to get that because there's a potential for it to
and that's been
go
level
up a little bit as well.
That's been level for a while. That's a good point. So maybe it is a good one to go after for non-foil, like Larry said.
Yeah, because generally there tends to be a little bit of a ratio. If the foils kind of explode, the non-foil will slowly catch up to it eventually.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon, but it's not going to drop down while the foils are going up.
Since we're talking about it a little more, what this card does is it's 9 to come out. It's an Eldrazi. Your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana cost, and they can't block with creatures with even mana cost, and he's an 11/9, so everything's odd about him.
That's what. Yeah, I was gonna say. That's why your opponents can't even.
They can't
even at all.
Yeah, so it's a pretty sweet card. I don't personally have it in a deck right now. So
I don't have it in a deck either. But it is. I have had it, and I've played it, and people go. And then they like shuffle around their hand, and they're like, "Oh crap,
I can't play anything."
And then you attack, and they're like a block, and you're like, "Well, that's even." Like it just kind of like it adds a pretty strong ability onto the board.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's just 9. It's a lot, but yeah, I like it.
So.
All right, I think that's it, right? We're done with our specs. We're done with segment 1, 2, and 3. So now we got to sign off.
If you have any good questions about Arena, maybe Adam can kind of answer it over Twitter. Maybe. Well, you said you didn't know everything about it. No, I mean, you played 9 games.
For if you haven't played anything or watched any videos, shoot me a tweet. A Twitter.
A tweeter.
A twatter.
So, no, gross. Oh, my.
That slipped.
We're in my basement. Stop it.
There are children upstairs.
Yeah, definitely. If there's any other questions, again, I don't think we're ever going to really run out of, song choices.
But you can send, ideas.
Yeah, send ideas. If you want to hear Adam sing beautiful lullabies from Dr. Seuss.
No, you wanted to do that. You're good at it.
I do it naturally.
So then, perfect. You do it. Yeah.
Mix, fix, kicks, bricks.
Oh, I almost went with the D word. My lips moved and then I stopped. I was like,
Dicks.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
You can find us on Twitter.
Dicks and Twatter.
Dicks and Twatter, whatever. You can find us on Twitter at Commander Smiths, or
you can Gmail us at commandersmiths.@gmail.
No, just the Gmail.
But at.
And we also YouTube Commander Smiths. So yeah, that's where you can find us.
I hope you enjoyed.
See ya.
Thanks.
Dicks and Twatter.